And hello again, and here we are back in my garage working on the Z650 1170 project, and today I'm working on the foot controls, and in particular the mounts to those foot controls. And so to make a start I need to very carefully check the dimensions of these two welded lugs that have been already added to the frame. Now these lugs have been threaded, so that's fine. So all I've got to do is measure the distances and then work out what kind of shape I want for the mount. And what I really need is a triangle. So I've cut out a little shape here in cardboard, and it's sort of something like that. So we can then drill a hole here, and that's where the peg will go. I then did a sort of Mark II version, Mark III version. I've ended up with a slightly different shape where the ends are just parallel with these two mounts, and then it goes back. Not quite sure yet how far we need to go back, but I've drawn on there various options. So with that sort of done, I then measured the other side, and perhaps by more luck than judgment, I don't know, we're actually identical completely. So all I've got to do is make two of these, and then away we go. However, the brake side's not quite so simple, because we need to find a way of mounting this Brembo master cylinder to the same plate, and that's where things get a bit complicated, because what I've got here is two different kinds of lever. This came off my old drag bike, and this was made for me nollie that I didn't use in the end, so that's fine. And when I've sort of positioned where things would go, sort of it would be, let's see, something like that, then there's no room for this. It would be up here somewhere where it hit the frame, so that's no good. Yeah, so what I've worked out is I can't use a shape like that kind of L shape of a brake lever. Instead, what I've got to do is make another one, and this time the mount for the brake itself will be behind the main lever. Rather than being 90 degrees, it'll be a 180 degrees lever. So that's something you need to make. Having made one, you may as well make two, one for the brake and one for the gear change. But all that's ahead of me, so for the time being I'm going to go away to Jeff's workshop, because I've checked I've got no suitable alloy plate here at all. It needs to be about 10mm thick, and yeah, we'll hopefully find some scrap alloy plate, and we'll make two of these, drill it, bring it back and try it out. And now here we are back in my garage. It's later on in the day, and I've just got back from Jeff's workshop. I didn't film it then because I had a dog with me and I didn't stay too long. But we came up with a plan for making the brackets for the foot pegs and so on. So that'll take a few days to get started. But what we'll do is we'll make a start on it, drill it, and then bring it back here just to make sure they fit correctly before we start shaping them and so on, putting too much effort just in case they don't fit the first time. Also, while I was there, I came back with this. This is the new swing arm spindle, which I've been waiting for a while. And it's made from a bar of EN24T steel, and we've also got these end pieces too. One end's been Loctited in really strong, that's not going to move anywhere, and the other end will be loose so we can attach it to the bike. Yeah, so pretty happy with that. I've not yet put it all the way in because it's still quite tight in the frame, so I think maybe I need a bit more work dressing these holes before it slides in and out just right. However, now I've got a spindle, I can attach, as you can see, the rear end for the first time, and obviously it's not right yet. I need to raise up the bike quite a lot before I can fit the shocks. But what I'm doing now is trying to work out the length of the spaces I need to fill in the gap between the spindle and, sorry, the swing arm and the frame, because this swing arm is not standard. It's from a ZRX12. I was given it by Les, thank you Les, and he used it as a sort of test bed for fitting something similar to, in fact, the Mark II behind me, because that's also got a ZRX swing arm in it. And what he did was he machined it down to fit the old Mark II frame. However, in my case now, of course, this frame's been widened by 20mm, so even if it had fitted before, well, it doesn't fit now. So we need to work out the gap I've got and then make some spaces up to make up that gap. Yes, that's what I'm doing right now. I just wish I could lift up the bike so I can get the shocks on and so on, but I can't do that yet. But one job I can do right now, very simple job, is sorting out the bolts that hold on these adjusters here at the back of the swing arm. And they're just ordinary everyday stainless steel cap heads. But if you look around here, these cap heads have been machined to make it look a bit prettier. So I want to do the same thing with these two cap heads, except here in my garage I don't have a lathe, so we'll do it the old-fashioned way. And that old-fashioned, or rather cheapskate method, is to put the cap head in my drill, get some 120 wet and dry sandpaper, get it wet, and just push against it, and off we go. And here we can see one of the cap heads are polished next to one that's not been polished, and hopefully you can tell a difference. And I must say it didn't take very long, maybe 3 or 4 minutes in the drill, using first of all 120 grade followed by 240 grade, and pretty simple and pretty effective, and well worth doing if you haven't got a lathe at home. Right, so here we are, and that's next day at Jeff's workshop. It's been quite busy today and yesterday.
Busy?
And
busy?
Yes, busy, and it's been making the brackets.
A mess.
Well, yes, the mess, yeah. And it's been making the brackets for the Z1170, and also making a start on the levers for the Z1170. So we've got here 2 brackets, just chain drilled out for now. We drill the holes, or you drill the holes, as you can see. And we've got a bit of a question mark for the brake side, because we need to attach the Brembo master cylinder. So if you grab the master cylinder there, Jeff. Yeah.
Well, basically, like you say, that'll suit the angle of the frame, and I'm guessing it's probably going to be maybe even flat when it's on. You know, like parallel. Yeah. I'm not sure. Okay. But I should imagine the lever may go down a bit.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't forget the rear, like rear sets, aren't they? So my feet are quite low.
But I think the angle of the frame is probably. We'll get it. This is where we'll
know when I take it back home. I've got to take it back home and check.
Obviously, like you just said, we need to know, because this will have the bit coming out the back.
Yes.
And then we need to position this in its. So, like you say.
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, that there wants to be like 90 degrees.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
In the optum, you know.
Absolutely. So that's fine. And then next to you here, if you put that down, you've got the starting point of the 2 levers.
Yeah, I'd only just sort of. I had a piece of plate. It's been skimmed on. It's been nicely skimmed on that side. So
that's the brake side. So
basically, that'll be replacing that.
Yeah, but with a straight 180 rather than the 90-degree bend there. Yeah. But
it's like I said, even there now, instead of having it, we could come down a little bit just to give us a bit.
Well, I think for me, I will leave it pending for now.
Pending,
I'll leave it straight for now.
But if we need to pinch a little bit here and there,
and then here we've got the gear change, which is again, it's a bit weird because over here behind it.
Well, we did. I was copying it off that because they were quite long.
But if we look at this here,
that's a GPZ Unitrack, or I should say, it come with the Unitrack. So I'm assuming it's a Unitrack. For no reason.
And they're very short, aren't they? Very short, yeah. So we've got to keep that sort of ratio on the bike. Again, it's more of a case of trying to replicate what the standard gear change is like, rather than trying to be clever.
Basically, if we sit that on there, let's get that right. Yeah, pivot point there. We're only talking maybe. I bet they're not much more than
10 mil or something. Well, the ratio's the same. It's not a problem, is it?
Well, what we're going to do is put bearings in this, and caps. So as long as we've got enough on the little on it to clear the 6
bearing,
well, we'll be replacing all that with rose joints, won't we? So as long as when that cap's in, say that's on, as long as we don't foul where the rose joint goes, and we can just make a nice new little.
Yeah, I'll just point out that these will be running on roller bearings. That's why we've got those bushes.
We've got a little seal bearing in there, and they're all, so everything's lovely.
So we can reuse that particular bush there and then make another one.
To be honest, if you try and get that out of there, you'll probably end up damaging it. Okay, it's not easy.
No, in that case, we'll just make some more. We
could probably do it, but
no.
I've got to make one for the other, so it doesn't take long just to whip a couple of them up.
No problem. And then also, you've been busy, and next to your hand on the left there, we have got... so as I was saying, we've got something different there. We've got 4 clamps made to suit a 43mm set of forks off my Z. And you've also got those 2 brackets, which are going to be the headlamp brackets. Yeah.
Oh, what we'll do is, I'll just take 2 of them out. These took ages. I've used a quarter slit saw on its side in the Elliott to do these, The plate's 6mm. What we need to do, well, like I say,
well, they've got to be pretty strong, those plates, because they're also going to hold not only the headlamp but also the cockpit fairing.
Oh, all this will be strong enough.
Oh, yeah.
It's what it is at the minute. If I can just take these out, take the bolts out. Ideally, like that's one. Right, they'll go between there.
Yeah.
They're just tiny bit of resistance. What I'm hoping for when they're on, you need to work out the angle of these plates.
Yes.
And so hopefully when they're tightened up, I've got that one the wrong way, haven't I?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we've got to try it out.
They want sliding on. Now what you might find is when you tighten them, it could be a fraction loose, which means we may just have to draw file.
Yeah.
Just enough so that it grips that perfectly and grips the fork leg perfectly.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of
give.
Jiggery pokery,
yes,
is it?
Jiggery pokery, that's right.
Jiggery pokery.
That's right.
So, you know.
Right, and also...
you could just try them like that for now. You could just place the plate there and nip them on. Because you're going to have a rubber mount there in them. Are we putting a rubber mount in them to the headlight? Or has the headlight got rubber mount?
Can't remember.
Mind you, is it a bulb or is it LED?
It's a bulb at the moment. I could change it out.
If it's an LED, then they're not as vulnerable to vibrations, are they? So anyway, that's something that can be.
Okay, so that's that. And now here we are, back on again in my garage, and I've just done a quick test fit of the two brackets, and thankfully they fit okay. While on the brake side, the bracket also fits okay, but as you can see it still needs a lot more work. And so moving on to the front end then, I thought I'd have a bit of a problem because the forks are still off being rebuilt. But then I remembered I've got this old pair of rusty stanchions taken from a Kawasaki Z650, which by chance are also 43mm. So I just dug them out and used them as a test. And as you can see I've also fitted these roundful bars, and I've bolted on these brackets for the headlamp mount. And so I've drilled and mounted these two headlamp brackets, and I must say they do look quite long. So I've grabbed hold of the headlamp shell here. This is a headlamp shell from an early Z1, and we'll just introduce it to the bike, and sure enough I'm pretty sure it's going to be way out of place. So it would go, let's see, something like that. A bit tricky to do when I've got one pair of hands, and that is far too far away from the yokes. And if I show you this from a different angle, I think you can see the problem. These brackets are far too long, and I'm pretty sure I need to reduce them in size by about 75mm, which will bring the headlamp back towards the frame like that, which is much better. However, I do have one more thing to check before I start cutting back these headlamp brackets, and that's to see how this thing fits. This is the BMW R90S replica cockpit fairing, and I'm a bit concerned that if I cut these brackets back too far, this won't fit. So now obviously this is not made for the bike, far from it, so I just want to do a little sort of check to see how things are going. And well, I do know that it's going to need a lot of work, a lot of cutting and faffing around to make everything fit correctly, but I just want to see how it works, particularly with the handlebars in place. So I'm not sure you can see that, but oops, there you go. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's not bad. But the headlamp is too far forward, and now so is the fairing, so that's fine. I'm just checking on clearances, because if I cut back these brackets by 75mm, will that mean that the fairing will then hit the yokes or the frame? And I don't think it will. Well, that's quite a good check actually. Let me just position this as best way I can. It's all a bit rough at the moment, obviously, because I've got the headlamp itself is missing. That's got a big chrome bezel which will stick out a little bit. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And I've got enough clearance for the handlebars, which is fine, because of course the original bike this cockpit fairing came off had quite low bars. It was an R90S, and they had quite, as I say, quite, not cafe racer bars, but quite low bars. But that looks okay. So yeah, I think we can go with that. Right, good. So that confirmed, I can now take everything off. Take that away, put it away safely. Remove all this, and as I say, tomorrow we'll take these brackets along with the footrest hangers and get them all changed. But that's for tomorrow. However, it seems I made quite a stupid mistake when it comes to making these footrest hangers, and not for the first time. So let me show you how these work on the bike and explain what the problem is. And so with the bracket back on the frame, I can point out that the foot peg will go here, which is quite simple. But if you look at where the foot peg would go on the standard frame, it would be here, right there. And the bad news is, that's 40mm higher than that, which I didn't really realise as I made the bracket. Now you can't really have rear sets which are lower than a standard frame, so I'm afraid this bracket will have to be changed. And so this bracket on the gear change side will have to be replaced, and this plate can go back in the scrap bin. The good news is that on the other side, on the brake side, we can still use this plate. We just need to re-drill it and reshape it slightly and it'll be fine. So that's good. So that will be a job for tomorrow when I go and see Jeff at his workshop. And so we'll continue the video at Jeff's tomorrow. Right, here we are, Jeff, back in your workshop on the hottest day of the year so far. It's about 90 degrees outside, and it's really hot in here as well, so we won't be too long. Anyway, we've had a quick conflab about these brackets for the foot pegs, and we've decided to start again. So I thought we'd remake the small one, but you reckon it's easy just to start again?
Well, by the time I've drilled that, and then what I don't want to run into is when we've drilled it and then you take it back and we find that we haven't got
something
enough
else
on
wrong.
there.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll start again.
I mean, it's like there. We've got our pivot point. Yeah, there'll only be just enough on that piece.
Yes.
So we'll get the holes in it and we'll leave it complete until all the information.
Aren't we having a flat 180 degree brake pedal on there? Are we not? You made a start on one there.
There's the is that the pivot? Is that line there, or is it that one?
It's a 40mm from there anyway, whichever one it is.
From centre to centre.
Yeah. About 40mm.
That looks about as though it's in the middle.
Well,
just below that.
Yeah.
So that's virtually not far off in the right spot.
Yeah, right, okay.
But
yes, but that's...
You could lose a quarter inch, half inch off that.
Yeah, no problem.
But...
It'll be fine.
You see, on that, this might have been a bit short. Even that piece might have been a bit short, you know, by moving that up there.
Yeah.
But this here has got at least it's got about an extra, probably ½ inch on it.
Okay.
With that, I think we'll be alright.
We'll be okay. Piece, yeah. So in fact, there you've got those half-completed levers. So if you grab one.
Well, all I've got to do is
yes.
What I want to do is bolt them together. I didn't know if you wanted them holes put in.
No. For once, no. I don't want any holes in mine.
No.
In fact, I might surprise you and haven't ball milled yet, but I don't know yet. You know, I'm not too keen on ball milling.
Oh, like we did the little slot, a couple of slots.
No, just one long slot.
We could do.
Yeah. Well, we'll come to that.
We'll work.
I'll decide that later on. So that's that, and you've also been busy. You've found a couple of homemade pegs.
We've made a few, yeah.
From some time ago.
With knurler, they weren't finishing yet.
Yes. Yeah, and you've also found some
little like
mini pegs.
I made a few, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll use the smaller ones, the thinner ones.
They were done on 3/4 bar.
Yeah,
and they were done on 16.
Yeah, so we'll go for the 5/8.
So you prefer, like you say,
yes,
once they're drilled and fitted,
and fettled.
They actually probably look on that sort of size lever probably better that size, don't they?
Yeah.
But you couldn't. It's got to be a certain, because you imagine you've got a big boot on or something. You're trying to ride. You don't.
Yeah.
If it was half the length of that, it's going to be.
I had the same problem on my Norley because I made them really small and neat and look really cool. But they're so small. I was missing gear changes all the time. So
where's the brake?
Yeah, it's like where's that gone?
Splat.
Yes, splat, dead. So we'll do that right, and then with the brackets for the headlamp over there to your left, Jeff.
Well, if you want,
you were surprised that I said take them down by 75mm, and you might be right, you might be wrong. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to take them home myself.
I mean, I know they're longer than what we need.
Oh,
but I didn't think when you said take them 3 inches.
It is a lot. Yeah. And I'm basing that on getting the back of the headlamp shell up against the headstock. It's about still a few mil away from it, but maybe that's too much because I'm not thinking about where the wiring and the details of the instrumentation will go. So, show.
Well, if you want, I mean, I can mill them down. I can take them smaller there. If you
let me. Well, there's still a lot of faffing about to do with them yet. So, let me take them home as is. I'll hacksaw them down, not by 75mm, but maybe by 40, and I'll just keep on checking it and make sure I'm happy with where we're going, because I wouldn't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, because I thought if you get your instruments on and then you've got your headlight, depending on where that's going to go, and you want a bit of room for wiring and cables and stuff.
Well, the instrumentation, I'm just having
cables in them now, or?
Well, actually, I'll tell you something. No, I'll tell you something really nice now. I'm getting a digital speedo stroke tacho combined pod, if you like, and it's got everything in it. And one of the options you can get,
just a single one.
Yeah. Now, it would look crap if it was just that on its own.
Two would look.
I know, but it doesn't matter because this bike's getting a cockpit fairing. So you can't see it. So it's not that important. I mean, yes, if it didn't have a fairing on it, I'd have to go for the twin instruments to match the classic Z1 look. Right. But it's not having that, so that's okay. But what I've ordered, it's not here yet, is a very nice sort of multi-display pod, instrumentation pod, tacho, speedo, all the lights, whatever. And you get the option to run the speedo, not from a cable.
But from a pickup, yeah.
No, not from a pickup.
Oh.
No, better than that. It's from a GPS unit. So there's no wires anywhere. There's no wires down to the wheels, nothing. It's just a little square pod, and it knows where you are in the world up from a satellite, and it can work out how fast you're going.
Right.
Right, yes.
Technology gone.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And I didn't like the idea at first, because I thought, oh well, perhaps you've got to pay some kind of subscription fee for the GPS, but it turns out you don't. So,
well, if they know how fast you're going up there.
Well, they's probably
the sky.
That's probably the NSA in America might know, but I don't think they care about me on my little bike. Yeah, so I'm going to go for that.
To drop a few gears in the odd little bit of a quiet road and take it up to 70 and 80.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, I think it also knows where you are in the world.
Yeah.
So that means maybe you can plug it into some sort of GPS system and it'll work out where you are. You can have a little map and tell you where you're going. But I don't know. I don't really need that.
I wish I could do one of them.
Yes, I
don't know where I'm going.
No. Right, so on that note, it's a very hot day. I've got to go home and see my dog. Right. So we'll end the video here. I'll take those home and do some more work on it. Yeah, I'll do it at home. I'll just get a hacksaw and I'll hacksaw them down. Because maybe 75mm is a little bit too far. But we'll see.
Do you know ideally what I'd do?
Go on, what would you do?
Get some thick cardboard.
Yes.
Cut some cardboard out, and then just slot the cardboard in. Just sort of, if you take them brackets just to stop them from, well, you could nip them up on the screw, couldn't you? Yes. Drop some cardboard in, some bit thicker than whatever, and just play around with some cardboard templates.
Yeah, well, I've been doing. That's how I got to that point.
You've got it right.
Yes, I know.
And then once we know where we're going, we'll know exactly.
Yes. Well, to go home and do that.
That's what I would do.
It's too hot today to do that. Yeah. Like your garage here, my garage is now an oven. It's certainly more than 90 degrees.
And it's cooler in here.
And I'm actually sweating in here and I'm not even moving yet. Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm going to jump in my car, which has got air conditioning, thank God, and go home.
Right.
And so with that, Jeff, thanks for that. I'll come back in a week or so and we'll see how we get on with that. And hopefully we can make some more you'll be a big puddle of sweat, I think.
No.
Okay, so with that then.
About that talk.
Yeah. Right, okay, we'll end it there. So thanks for watching, everybody, and cheers.
Right. Thank you.